Welcome to another episode of Manifesto Talks. Today you are joining me in this wonderful villa as we sit down and talk all things Serneholt Estate with founders Linda and Fredrik. Welcome back to another episode of Manifesto Talks, and today I'm so excited to be with Fredrik and Linda Serneholt, the owners of Serneholt Estate. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much.
So I want to start off by talking about where it all began and how you both met.
Yeah, me and Fredrik met up in Stockholm, Sweden, 2002 through a friend, and actually Fredrik moved into my place after 2 weeks.
Wow,
so
cool.
I think I did a really good impression on you.
Yeah, she did. And I'm up to this ad hoc things, doing things just by feeling. Yeah, and it's not just by the company, it's even in my relationship, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after meeting, how long did it take before you decided actually we might be able to work together or build something?
Yeah, it took a few years. I was working in the real estate business in Sweden since 2000, and then I think Fredrik maybe thought it was a nice...
Yeah, I started in 2004 in the real estate business, and I think it was because Linda was pregnant with our first child. So I decided to do something different because I have always been an entrepreneur and working for myself. And then I decided, okay, maybe we need some more stable thing to do. I cannot just doing my entrepreneurship
No,
thing.
there needs to be something a bit more stable, as
Yes.
you'd say. So did you start off, was then that in the same agency together, and then you decided actually maybe we could go and make something of our own, or were you in separate agencies at that point?
We were in separately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think, Linda, you actually recruited me into the same agency, but it took us like, what did it take? Like 12 years before you decided to do that?
Yeah.
And at that time we had been to like 4 different agencies.
Yeah.
So at this point, were you working together, and was the idea to build something in Sweden, or was this when you got to the stage and thought, actually, we're going to go to the Costa del Sol where you are now?
No, it was more like we wanted to do something new. We wanted to move to another country, and we said just for 1 year. So it was like the company that we were working for in Sweden, they had an office here as well.
Okay, great.
So it was easy for us to start working for them.
Yeah, exactly. So we moved down to Spain, and the reason for Marbella and Costa del Sol was actually that we had the easiest solution was to keep on working in the same company.
How did you find the decision of moving? Obviously, on a day-to-day basis, you deal with people moving their families over. It's a huge decision. Was there anything you were worried about at that point, or was it always Marbella? Were there any other options, or?
It was a lot of different options. Actually, we went to, before we went down to Marbella and Costa del Sol, we actually went up to Costa Blanca and Torrevieja. Yeah. And we also tried out and meet the different schools, the Swedish schools, because we had 2 kids at that time. So we went to the different schools and visited them before. And but when we came into the school here in Marbella, the Swedish school in Marbella, it was an easy decision.
How were the kids? Were they excited for it, or was there a bit of nerves, or were they so young that they didn't know what was going on?
No, but the oldest one, he's always like, didn't enjoy anything in that time. Yeah. So he was like, no, I don't want to move. And we said, okay, only 1 year, no problem. And then after 1 year, we said, only one more
That's
year.
what my mum and dad did. They said, oh, it's going to be a month. And then 16 years later, it's still month by month. I'm going, hang on, like we did. So that's...
We did the same.
Yeah, but the other one,
the trick.
the other boy, he was like,
let's go.
Yeah. So,
did you find any troubles when looking for the schools, or was it a simple process? Or
no, for us, looking at the Swedish schools, there are not like
a lot of
50
options.
It was like, okay, in Spain there are options in Gran Canaria, Tenerife, Mallorca. You have Torrevieja, and you also have. Here in Marbella and Fuengirola. So it was like, okay, we have to start looking there first. So for us it was easy, I think.
Even if we have never been here before, it was like, this was the first time.
There wasn't too many options.
No.
So the option was made for you.
Yeah.
So now you're here in Marbella. You're obviously working at the other agency. What I want to get into is, where did that decision then come from of we're going to do it ourselves or we're going to try?
Yeah, we can take, like, the short story about that is that we were actually forced to start our own company. So what do you mean by forced to? Yeah, but when me and Linda started to work here in Costa del Sol for the company, the Swedish company, we worked here for a few months and we were really successful, I would say. And after a few months, we should get our first commissions, the paychecks, as everyone had been waiting for. But we noticed that he will never pay them out.
Wow.
He kept them for himself. And we tried to solve this situation with him and also with the company in Sweden. But nobody listened really to us. So we were actually forced to do something else. Yeah. And to create our own company was probably the best thing we could do at that point. Because we didn't know if we're going to stay for a year or like 6 months more. And we were not like, okay, we are not going into another like franchise thing and open for someone else. This gave you
control.
Yeah.
Yes, it gave us the control. But also when we were looking into the business, what we learned in these first months here in Costa del Sol was that the photographers were not working with to taking pictures on the properties. The information, it was a lack of information everywhere. So me and Linda, when we were working the first months, we were like professionals on Google Maps to find the properties just by looking into the pictures of the pools. We could see exactly the location of a property. So we decided when we're going to create our own company that we wanted to do it differently, more the same way we do in Scandinavia. We wanted to present more information, professional photos, floor plans. We wanted to create a new way of finding the property.
I think a big thing is obviously where we are is quite a cutthroat environment, and it seems that the approach that you guys have got is quite family orientated, and it feels that when you either work or you join Serneholt Estate, that you are joining part of the family.
Yeah, and also that is important for us because we have been in companies where we've always been taken care of. So we decided also to have like a very nice environment for people to work for a long time with us. So I think we have a good company now.
Yeah.
How did you find the process? Was it simple? Was it hard setting up the agency in terms of, I'm assuming there's a lot of different legalities to when you're starting your own thing in Sweden, example. Was it easy? Was it?
I think the best way to explain this is like our best friend, like 6 first month was a lawyer.
So they helped us a lot.
So when starting out, what did you find were some of the difficulties and the exciting bits? Did you manage to work together and find it a simple process?
Yeah, work together was pretty easy. I think we would never been able to do it in Sweden, but here in Spain it's like you don't have anyone else. You need to like stick together, and so it was very easy.
Yeah, we didn't have any friends or anything here. In Sweden, you always have your family, you have friends, someone who can catch you up, and then someone that you can talk to. But in Spain here, it was just me and Linda. We had to talk to each other. So we had to rely on each other in every single moment.
So what were the early days like? Did you get an office straight away? Was that a decision of we're going to do an office, or did you think let's just start and see how it goes and grow it organically?
From the first beginning, we said we would only sell to our friends and family, but suddenly our neighbor, where we had our first townhouse, he asked us, do you want to have an office, because the local next to me is free now, so you can take it if you want. And I was like, okay, maybe only the two of us, but then we actually took it.
I think we took it in 3-4 hours. We had the office, and then we realized, okay, now we have an office. What's next? And
then a lot of friends are contacting us and said, can we start working for you? And it's like, bringing them in. So suddenly we were like 9 people in just a few months.
Because obviously, and we'll get onto it later, what it's become now is absolutely incredible. But was there anything those early days that you remember that there were of real excitement? Maybe the first time the sign, the first time you got your logo. Do you know what I mean? Is there a story there of just that excitement of the simple things. Now they're mundane. It's the normal stuff. But was there someone at the start you think, oh, that was an exciting moment?
Yeah, but of course, when you get your logo on the first office, it's something totally different. Your own logo that you have created, it's totally blasting to have it. So.
Yeah, especially since it's our name. So it was it was not like Costa del Sol Estate or something. It was the name of.
No, it's something hugely to be proud of.
Yeah,
it's extremely exciting. It's also quite risky, you know what I mean? It's then your name. You are the brand at the start, so of course your reputation is absolutely everything. And we know in starting out in Marbella, it's a small place, so you know, to be able to grow something from your own family name, I think is extremely impressive.
Yeah, thanks.
But I don't think we really thought about it from the first beginning. It was like, we take it, it would only be us two, so no problem.
Exactly, it's easier because from the beginning it should be only us. So it was easy to keep up the reputation. But of course, when you grow...
Well, that's it. That's one of the difficulties, isn't it? How do you find people that you can trust that will treat others the same way that you expect your name to be treated? How was the process of starting it with members of staff? Was it close friends and trusted people to start with? Or were there a few people where you think, oh, we maybe grew too fast? Was there anything like that?
Yeah, but as we said, we have been here for less than a year.
Yeah, so you had to trust just...
Exactly. So we trusted our gut from the beginning. It was like, okay, maybe this person is right for us. And then we started to working with a lot of different people. As Linda said, we grow from just us two to being like, I don't remember if it was 9, but maybe we were 7 in the first year. Yeah. And it was still crazy because this was people that we had met just a few months before, and now they should represent our brand, our name. Yeah. So it was totally different and was not in the plan from the beginning.
So let's move on to the next stage. We've got the first office, the brand is growing. What was the next step? Was it to open another office? Was it to start the franchise process? How did it move on?
No, actually first of all, we found another office in Fuengirola. So we decided, okay, maybe if we're going to open another office, we can do it together with one of the person working with us. We can open another office in Fuengirola, and then we decided, okay, where in Fuengirola should we open? And I remember that we were walking a lot in Fuengirola. I think we had like 30, 40 kilometers of walking just to find the best spot for a new office. Yeah. And then at least we found the office in Calle España, where we had office until last year. And that office was actually owned by us as well, together with the person working with us. And then the next step, we told everybody, okay, if we're going to grow more, then we need to find out how to do it, because we cannot be in 2 offices, or we cannot even be in 3 or 4 offices at the same time. And then we decided to look into the franchise concept, because both me and Linda, we worked in the franchise concept in Sweden. Yeah. So we decided to create our own.
How would you say, has the vision, obviously, organically it's grown as things have happened, but has the core vision ever changed, or have you thought actually at this point we're moving towards something that we never even thought it would be? Or was it something that you thought, hang on, this is just naturally happening and let's just kind of see where it takes us?
No, but we were like sitting down and said, okay, should we have this as a small company or should we just go ahead? So we said, okay, let's go ahead and see what it takes us. Yeah. So it was more like, we didn't think about it that much. It was more like a decision over a dinner.
So obviously when we started working with each other, it was at the point where there were 6 offices, and now it's expanded all the way to 10, which is absolutely incredible. What have been, let's say, some of the interesting challenges you've noted from such growth?
Yeah, to find the right people, I would say. That's the most, the biggest problem we have when we're opening in different locations, because we are so reliable on the people that need
to make it work.
Make it work. So I think it's super important to find the right persons.
Is that difficulty in terms of probably the passion they have for something that you've created? It's always going to be difficult to replicate, isn't it?
It is. It's a big deal. I'm not sure what to say there.
No, but it's also like, since it's our name and our heart into this. It's so important for us to have the right people because we risk so much to have the wrong people.
We're here, obviously, on the Costa del Sol, and we all know it very well. But with recent openings in Mallorca, Tenerife, Gran Canaria, the list goes on. What are some of the biggest differences for people that don't know the different markets? What would you say is a big difference between those and here?
Yeah, I would say like if it were like 10 years ago, I think the differences were smaller. But since we had this COVID situation and everything, I think more people looking into the markets in mainland Spain, both in Costa Blanca and Costa del Sol, the people looking here, they are looking to relocate.
Okay.
And the people looking to buy or purchase something in the islands, they are more looking for holiday homes.
Yeah.
That's very generic, but
because obviously I think we had the conversation recently about the demand and the fact that there is no supply on the islands. It's something quite different to here, obviously. So it's a different, from probably our marketing point of view, it's a different demand, isn't it?
it is totally different because we have a lot of, like, the demand is more or less the same everywhere, but then the supply and the
much smaller.
Exactly, the properties, we don't have too much to sell in the islands, so we really need more properties to sell there.
So with the franchises, we all know that Estepona was one of the first ones. How did that come about?
Yeah, we actually met with Fredrik, that is the owner of the franchise office in Estepona. We met with him through a mutual friend that introduced us because they wanted to open an office in Florida, in Naples.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, okay.
We met at a tennis club here in Marbella, and then he said, like, I want to open an office in Naples. And we said, okay, do you know anything about Naples? And he said, no, I have no idea. And then from that point we were discussing.
He's our guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we started to discuss with him, but are you open to open here in Costa del Sol something for us instead? And then he said, yeah, but I can... Actually, Estepona could be interesting for me as well.
Yeah, no, it's a huge... We all know it's a huge... I mean, we would say up and coming area, but now it is one of the biggest areas, especially here on the Costa del Sol.
Yeah.
It is.
As we talk about the franchises, what would be some of the challenges that you've seen as it's expanded?
Yeah, but I think it's important to have like a concept, a clear franchise concept. So we created like guidelines, handbooks. We created like rules how to manage your franchise, how the sign should be, the brand, how you should work with it. So that's the most important thing for us. And
they're all difficult. For the first time you're ever doing it, I know we've spoken about, for example, the team handbook.
Yeah.
There's always situations that you can never imagine even coming up, and then the next thing it's actually we need to add this one to the handbook.
Yeah.
So as with it all, it's all a journey, and but I think what we've probably seen is that you've always kept the core values the same throughout, and no matter how big it is becoming, it still actually feels like that original family business, which I think is a real credit to yourselves.
Yeah, thanks. But I think one of the most important things in the handbook is that we always go back to what's the best thing for the client.
Yeah.
It's not about the agents or what's best for me and Linda. It's about the client. If the situation ends up that the client is having something that is better for them, then that's the way we go.
I want to talk a little bit, right, without pushing, about how the whole work-life balance works for you both. I know me and Oksana find it at times quite difficult. We've tried putting in place, on the drive home, once we go past this roundabout, we don't talk about work anymore. But then sometimes some of the biggest board meetings are when we're having our Weetabix on a morning. So it's always very hard to find that balance. How have you both found that balance over the years?
We don't have any we talk about work almost all the time.
Yeah, it's a very, very thin line between work and personal life, especially in our house, I think.
Yeah, but we have children, so sometimes we need to think about them, of course, but it's very hard. Now we try to involve them as much as we can as well. So.
Well, no, your sons are now becoming older, no? They're coming to the stage where there's obviously thoughts, is there potential of entering the world of Serneholt Estate, or are they looking to... You hope so?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But actually...
graduated like 2 days ago.
Yeah. But actually it's like, we talk about work much at all.
Yeah.
It's not Yeah.
I think it's impossible not to. And I think there's a very much a difference between potentially arguing about work and then actually discussing work.
Yeah.
And what we've seen is it actually is a huge positive for the business and the clients. It might be quite difficult to constantly be talking, but I think decisions are made quicker. And they're normally made from that family point of view of, does it work for you? And if it works for both of you, normally it's the right decision.
Yeah, but I think for me and Linda, I think it's especially nowadays it's like, okay, we have clear rules between us. So I think we discuss a lot of things, but I am the one that need to execute them.
So what would you say, if we had to say one thing, what would you say is the biggest benefit of the fact that you are able to work together? Is it that decision making? Is it the fact that you've got the support of each other?
Yeah, I think the support.
Yeah.
Since we both still selling and have the company in.
We support each other. So every time we come up to these situations or discussions, we need to find a solution on everything. So we know that we cannot go to bed like arguing with each other, because before we started to work together, I think we had a lot of arguments that never ended. That we take with us into the sleep. And nowadays we need to get rid of them, because we need tomorrow is a new day and we need to have a decision.
That's a huge positive. I think I should take that on board maybe. I'll note that one down. I think it's always interesting to ask people who have been very successful and have a lot of experience, if there's anything that when they look back, would they have done differently? Is there any decision? Of course, I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, but is there anything you think, we might have just done that slightly different?
No.
I have a lot of things that we should have done differently. I think in my case, I'm always into new business. So I'm like every day is for me, it's like, this thing happens here, I can do this, and tomorrow I want to go into another new business. So I need to like revert my thing and like, okay, I need to say like, okay, is this really important? Should I do this or not?
Yeah, especially when we are on vacations, it's always like going to a new place. Fredrik is like, maybe we should open here. So that could be something not to.
And as we're looking back, is there anything that either someone maybe starting out in the industry that you might have as a good recommendation for them?
To start over now?
Yeah, if somebody's young, hungry, and they want to get into the world, we all know that it's insanely competitive. But is there something that you think, actually, if we were starting out now, this is something that you would focus on rather than all the noise of grandeur videos, etc.?
But I think what's important now is to see what can make you unique, or what is your thing. And then, of course, you need to also connect that to like a budget, because, of course, you can create videos, you can do a lot of things, but it costs a lot of money. And you need to connect that cost to the potential income.
And work hard, because a lot of agents that start now, they think it's so easy. But you need to do that.
I would imagine that is, without going into it, is obviously a difficulty when running a real estate, not only an agency, but franchises as well. You have got the balance of what does everybody else expect from yourselves, you know? We see it more than ever that obviously we deal with the owners on a day-to-day basis, and it is finding that balance of you don't simply join a real estate and be given sales. There needs to be that little bit of understanding of, we will support you, but you've got to bring the goods and bring the hard work.
But I think for me and Linda, when we started, it was like we worked too much, probably. But nowadays, when you hire a new agent, most of them, they are like, okay, we have, in our company, we said to them, like, you have to be in the office between 10 and 4. And, you know, when the clock is 10, then they struggle into the door like, shit, a new day, and then at 4 everybody's gone. We don't find a new Zlatan there that stays over and training the free kicks until noon.
You just think that's something maybe that's changed with the generations of...
Could be.
Yeah, we certainly see it, especially with I think COVID changed it in terms of you can work from anywhere in the world. real estate is slightly different in terms of you want to meet people and show them. But I think this working from home has definitely changed how people approach the work-life balance, if there is such a thing.
Yeah.
So there's a big birthday coming up for Serneholt Estate, which is
mine.
extremely...
Very soon.
That's the most important one, of course. But the other one.
Yeah.
So what does the future hold for Serneholt Estate? What do you see in the future?
Yeah. As you said, we will celebrate like the 10th birthday for Serneholt Estate next year. But before that, we have a few new things coming up. During the summer, we're gonna work on the new website that we're gonna release in September, hopefully. And then at the same time, we are doing like a brand update and a new vision update.
We won't give anyone too many details, but it's very exciting. So a little bit of change is coming, a little bit of change, but we're extremely excited. And Linda, you're involved in a very exciting program that's coming out soon.
Yeah, in the end of August we will release it. It's like a Swedish version of A Place in the Sun. So we have been filming a few months, and I think it
How was it? Did you enjoy it?
Yes,
was it?
It was so.
No, you seem to take to it like a natural. All worried about the cameras, but then
it was so much fun. Yeah. So I think that could be also, even if it's in Swedish and everything, I think it could be good for.
100. It's only a positive for everybody involved.
Yeah.
And with the beauty of AI now, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get some of the clips changed and it will magically you'll be speaking in English.
And we will show so much more than just luxury houses. So it would be like how beautiful Costa del Sol is and Costa Blanca, and so it's not only about luxury properties. It's like
the lifestyle and things that made us move here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come across how wonderful you both are. And if somebody was interested in obviously getting involved with Serneholt Estate, the franchise options, what's the best way to do it?
I think the best way is to reach out to me, actually, because I'm normally the one that takes care of the first calls, and then we do like a business plan together if it's interesting enough. But we are open to...
Are there any locations you've got your mind on? Naples, Florida?
Not Florida, but I would like to open in Portugal.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, if I look outside Spain, and of course we would like to open more offices in Spain as well.
Okay.
Barcelona, could be Altea, Alicante, could be more places in Costa Blanca.
Yeah, so when we do the second visit...
Yeah.
Who knows what number of offices and franchise we could be at.
See.
We asked a few of the Manifesto followers for some questions that they might want us to ask. So I better throw one of them in there.
Yeah.
And it is a bit real estate-y, so it is quite niche. But what do you see for, let's use the Costa del Sol as a good example. What do you see the future holding? Obviously at the moment it's go, go, go. Is that how you see it continuing?
Probably not. I would say that we will probably go into a market that will slow down because the supply of the properties that we get now is a little bit overpriced already. So I think we will need to have a little bit of a slower market in the next years at least. I'm not sure if it will gonna be this year, but maybe in next year.
So if you're looking to sell, now's a good time. If you're looking to buy, do you hold off a little bit? Or that's the balance, isn't it? You know?
But if you buy in a long term, all real estate business is always good.
Yeah. Well, thank you both, honestly, so much. We absolutely adore having you as clients. It's a very special name that we are very proud to work with. And I'm sure in the future we will get you back on to talk about the new office in Naples, Florida.
Let's see.
Thank you both so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.